Good morning. So we're going live again. We've, as you requested last week, you requested us to do a curry or use the eggs to cook a curry. So that's what we're going to do today. But I'd just like to thank everyone who had a go at doing the southern baked chicken last week. There's been tons of you posting pictures and saying how much you liked it. So that's really nice. It's really encouraging to hear that you like the recipes and that you're giving them a go. Usual thing, I'm going to introduce the people who are helping me. So I'm going to grab this, flip it round. So we've got Andrea.
Morning.
She's on the camera today, as usual. My sister-in-law living with us at the moment. We've got Helena in the dark over there. I'll try and get in a bit. She's on Instagram. She'll be looking at the questions that come through and taking those down so that when we get sufficient breaks, we can have a look at those. We'll talk about those. And then over here, we've got our barbecue setup. So I'm going to use 3 eggs today, but you could do this whole thing on 1, but just not in 45 minutes like we're intending to do. So we're going to do 4 different dishes, something like that. So we're going to use this egg here. We are going to do some chicken tikka on that. So some chicken that I've been marinating overnight. The recipe's on my website, but you'll be able to see that. So we're going to do chicken tikka on here, and then when we finish with that, we'll then clean up the grates, and that's where we'll make some naan breads. So we've got everything ready for that. Second egg, you can come in, and we've already started the cook here. So I'll just explain what I've got going on. So it's a little bit warm, so but we've got some onions sweating away in there, just caramelizing a bit, so they're looking quite nice. And we're going to make a spinach and mushroom curry. Okay, no meat in that one, but I also have another curry that takes a little bit longer that we'll reheat in here in a minute or two. Just turn that down a bit because it's racing along. We'll do a tikka masala. So we're going to, I've got the sauce for that, and that's where our chicken that we're going to cook over there, we'll put that into and cook that in here. Then on the final egg, we've got a little bit of setup in here. So if you come on and have a look, might be a bit difficult to see, it's a bit dark, but what you'll see is we've got a wok in here and there's some oil in there. It's a little bit on the hot side, but we should be fine. But we've got just controlling it to get the oil about 180 degrees. Often get asked questions about cooking with a wok full of oil in a barbecue over a live flame. Well, if you're cooking on a gas ring in the house, that's exactly the same. And what I say is, at least with the big green egg, if it catches on fire, if it all goes wrong, you can just pull the lid shut, shut the top vent, shut the bottom vent, and that's effectively like putting a tea towel over it. So I have had a chip pan on fire on one of these when I walked away and wasn't paying any attention and came out and thought, cool, the garden's a bit smoky. And it was because I'd set the wok on fire and there were flames like coming out the top here. So just pull the lid shut, disaster avoided. And we were able to just carry on. I had to throw the oil away, it was a bit smoky, but yeah. Right, so Andy, we'll go backwards, keep you on your toes. We're going to look at the first cook. So what I've done overnight, this recipe was given to me by a friend I used to work with, a colleague, Parmjit. He's a Sikh, and he gave me this recipe, and it's a tikka, chicken tikka recipe. So in here we've got Greek yogurt or yogurt. I use proper Greek yogurt, not the Greek style. Greek style yogurt is nothing like Greek yogurt. It's much thinner and watery and horrible. Sorry, we do live near a road, so you're probably getting the motorbike roaring past. We've got some coriander, some mint, some paprika, and a whole bunch of things. The recipe's on the website, but all I've done is mixed it all together, put chunks of chicken in and marinated those. So what we're going to do, get this egg open. It's a little bit hot again, but that will soon change once we get these on. I'm using 1 set of tongs to put them on. What you'll see is I'm just going to cook these direct on the stainless steel because they stick less on stainless steel. We'll just spread them out. I'll get all of these on there. It's probably easier just to tip it and then spread them. But we'll get all these chunks. You might lose a couple of bits down the gaps, but there's no big deal on that. And we'll get all of these. I cleaned the grids on these, and I'm going to show you how to do that again when we come back, because we're going to cook the naan on the same egg once these are cooked. Okay, so I'm going to cook these separate from the curry dish. The point in that is you've got your chicken tikka, and then you can add it to whatever sauce you want. So we could put it into our mushrooms if we wanted. We're not going to, but we can add it to our tikka sauce. But if you've got vegetarians there, you can still serve them a curry without needing to put the chicken in. So I'm going to cook those separately. You could do them. A lot of people ask when you're cooking a curry, can you use the egg like a tandoor? And you see these people with the skewers sticking out the top of their egg and all their chicken on the skewer sticking right out the top. You're totally out of control. As soon as you do that, you've lost control of the air, you've lost control of the temperature. You don't need to do it. Why not just put it on the grid and let gravity do it? The only advantage a skewer has is it will cook the meat from the middle out, but as long as you don't set it too hot and you give it time to cook, you don't need to put it on a skewer, you don't need to have it sticking out. You're still going to get that barbecue flavour as all that sauce drips onto the coals.
Nick,
So, yeah.
Yeah,
So, sorry, this is a direct cook. If you have a quick look in, Andy, you should be able to see the coals underneath, and I'm just cooking those directly. You can see the glowing orange there. I can see it on Andy's while she's cooking. So this is a direct cook.
And what part of the chicken do you use?
I'm using chicken breast for this, but you could use the thigh. It worked brilliantly. Just debone them, or get your butcher to do it. But yeah, this is chicken breast today. I want to do something different with all the thighs, so for another cook. Okay, right, let's have a look at this. So we're going to build up this curry. Now, those onions are crisped up, maybe a little bit too much, but for this it'll be fine. Now they're caramelised nicely. So to those, I'm going to add some garlic and ginger. So there are about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic there and about 1 inch of ginger all chopped up. So we'll add those in and we'll stir those around. Get those start cooking. Okay. Now I'm going to pop the lid shut for a second, just so we can control the temperature, and I'll take you through what we've got here. So into my curry, we're going to add 4 main spices. So I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric, so probably about ½ a teaspoon of turmeric. We are going to add some ground cumin. I'm going to put in about 3/4 to a teaspoon of ground cumin. We are going to add in ground coriander. We'll put in about a teaspoon and a half of that. We are going to put in some garam masala, and we'll put in probably 2 tablespoons for that. And I've left my chili powder inside, so Helena will run and grab that. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon of chili powder. If you want, you can add some smoked paprika if you really want to give it a smoky flavour, so we could do that. And then I've got a few extra ingredients, a little bit of pepper, a bit of salt, some fennel seeds, and I've got some poppy seeds here because we like little poppy seed crunch going through. So that's what we do. My able assistant is tearing across the garden with my chili powder, so we're going to just use chili powder as well. So let's get on with it. Let's open this up. And what you want to do is cook through your spices. So just over ½ a teaspoon of turmeric going in. We'll then go on to the cumin. So the way I like to think of it is about half of the cumin compared to coriander. So we'll go a bit bigger on the coriander. So a little bit bigger, about twice as much, and then double again on the garam masala. So we're going to go in with 2 big heaped teaspoons of that. And lastly, let's get some chili powder. I'm going to go fairly hot today. And we'll put a bit of paprika in for a little bit of smokiness. After all, we are cooking this on the barbecue, so about a teaspoon, just a bit less of paprika. And then we want to give that a good mix round. You want to start getting these spices. You don't want to burn them, but you want to start cooking them, just get that flavour. Now, if you had whole coriander or cumin, you could bake those off or just dry fry those off first. But you can see all that's come together nicely. Right. So I'll chuck in the last few things, bit of black pepper, bit of fennel, bit of salt. Now, if you talk to either of these two about my curries, we have a curry probably once a week, and they are never ever the same again. So they always ask me what type of curry we having tonight, and it's, I don't know, 23B, and that's just, you know, because I never measure the ingredients properly. I just chuck them in and see how it goes, and they always come out and they always taste amazing. So just freestyle it a bit. Don't be, you know, don't worry about the recipe being 100%. So right, I'm going in with my mushrooms now. So I've chopped 2 punnets of mushrooms for this. Now it may look like a huge amount of mushrooms, but what's going to happen to those is they'll break down as it goes. So I'll just give them a couple of minutes in here. Light heat. Now the reason I've got that, I'm using the Big Green Egg enamel Dutch oven. I've got it off to one side. Reason for that is I'm going to put another curry in, so I'll show you. Here is one I made earlier. So this is, it's on my website. It's a masala sauce, so we're going to add that with the chicken. Super easy to do. I did that this morning, but I'm just going to put it on here to reheat so that you can see it cooked. And if I pop that down by the side, and I'm using, these are Tefal Ingenio pans. They are brilliant because you can pop them in, take the handles off, and shut your egg. Job done. And that makes them brilliant for the egg. So I use those all the time. Love them. Right, so we've got the mushrooms in there. We're going to let it cook a little bit, let them wilt down a bit, and then we'll add the spinach. We're going to add a little bit of tomato puree to go with them. We'll add the seeds, and you know, get in there. So Helena, any questions?
No, I've been answering the questions. I've got temperature for the sauce.
180 for the sauce, roughly. So we were a little bit over that, but again, we're doing that indirect again. Sorry, direct. You could do it indirect, but I like to fry the onions in there, so I'm doing that direct. Just, you could cook a whole curry on your hob, so that's the way we're doing it. But if you wanted to, you know, if you were going to put it in the oven at home, then you could put your plate setter in there and you could cook it indirect. Yep. Right. Anything else?
No, that was it so far.
Cool. Right. Let's move on. So while that's cooking, let's do something that's really simple and super delicious. I don't know if Nigel's on today. He's on from Northern Ireland. This one's for you, Nigel. He loves this dish. So what I have here, really simple. I've got some gram flour, so basically chickpea flour. You can get it from any supermarket now, or any Asian supermarket. I have some chopped green chilies, so I'm going to spice these up a bit so they can go in. I have a little bit of baking powder. Do I mean that, or do I mean bicarbonate? Bicarbonate of soda, sorry. A teaspoon of table salt, so we'll get those in. I have 25 grams, and again, I'll make sure this is on the website, but this is just ground rice, so I chuck it in my Thermomix. It's just a high-power blender, but you can buy it already pre-ground, but I just take rice and grind it. That will give them a little bit of crunch. Then we've got some cumin seeds and some fennel seeds, and I'm leaving those whole. We have some coriander, fresh coriander, chopped up. And then of course with your onion barges you need onions. So I've got 2 onions here, and I'll just scrunch those as I put them in to break them up a bit. Just chopped up. You can see everything's going in together. Get it like that. Sorry, Andy. There we go. And then some water, and I'll post all the amounts. So the water goes in. Now this is going to be a relatively dry mix. So you'll see as we pull it together, we just mix the whole lot together. It'll be relatively dry. Now this isn't like your, you know, we have onion barges in the restaurants over here. I was lucky enough to cycle through India a few years ago, and we stopped one day in Kerala in southern India and had barges, and I could see the guy making it, and the mix looked like this. I'm like, well, that doesn't look very nice. And then he fried it, and it is just epic. So You're not making big round balls here. These are going to be small, crunchy little bits like that. So you are aiming for an oil temperature, and we're still a bit hot, but these will cool it down, of about 180. Now just be careful when you do this. You want to get just a spoonful. I'm going to grab a little bit and then put it into one side. That one's broken up a little bit, but you can just dollop them in, and you're going to put in like 4 or 5 at once. Just do it gently. I'm just using a vegetable oil here, sunflower. Just be careful when you're putting them in. So we'll do that, and what you'll see is they'll start to, I'll just do these few for now, but you'll see they'll start to brown up. You can see the bits here. Some of these are broken up a little bit, but that's fine. That's how they look. So I'm just going to shut it for a minute. What I don't want to do is have all that air rushing through and making it hotter and hotter. But when you put these in, it will cool it down. So you may have to wait before you put the next batch in to get that oil temperature back up. But we'll give it a couple of minutes just for those to cook. We're going to flip them. Cook them on the other side, and then we'll take them out and drain them. So Helena, any questions?
No, I've been going along. Is there a shout out though?
Yeah.
Ed is on. Ed Stoneham.
Oh, Ed Stoneham's on here. Ed lives in my village, runs a company that fixes AV, fixes amplifiers and does AV, and he puts in AV systems into super yachts. So Ed hasn't got his egg yet, I don't think. He's just bought. Carlos is on apparently. Right, let's have a look. Susan's on. Susan Stoneham or Sue Quayle? So it's Stoneham. So the recipes we've got for the barges is Susan Stoneham's, but you can see, look at these. So we'll do them another minute or so, take them out, and then we'll put them on a plate to drain. But what you should see is they've got nice crunchy. They've got that rice in there, and that makes them crunchy. It's a beautiful recipe. So came out of a tiny little Indian cookbook that I'll link to. I've had it, I don't know, years, but it's been one of my most popular cookbooks I've used, and it's about this size. It's the tiniest thing. Right, let's get a dish. I should have got a bit of paper towel for this. Yeah, if you could grab some. I could, yeah. We'll start getting some of these out to drain. But look at these. So it should have cooked through they're so hot. It should have cooked through the onion. We'll just grab a piece of kitchen towel. It's just on its way. That's my fault. Just fold it up. Yeah, perfect. We'll put that on there, and we'll drain these on that kitchen towel. Now these are just like the ones I had on the roadside in Kerala. Oh, it was a fabulous morning. It's one of the hottest days of the year, so not dissimilar to today, I guess. Very hot that day.
Nick,
Yeah.
do you use the oil once, or do you cool it and reuse it?
You could cool it and reuse it and store it just for this. No reason why not. So yeah, don't waste it, but wait until it's cooled down before you put it back in the plastic bottle, obviously. But how do they look? I think they look fab. So I'm not going to, after we finish, we'll go through and we'll do some more, but I'm not going to spend time just spooning in and out. That's not very exciting. So let's have a go back to our curry. So we can see our mushrooms are starting to break down now. We can give them a good stir through. That's looking fabulous. It smells great as well. So we've got those in. So next ingredients. Let's put a bit of tomato puree in there, just to give it a little bit of colour, a little bit of tomato flavour. So probably a couple of tablespoons full. We'll get our mustard seeds in. Now I could have put these in earlier, or now it's fine. We'll get a good few of those in there, give it a nice crunch, a little bit of a pop. So we'll get all those all stirred through. That's looking good. Right, and let's get the spinach on the top of it. So this is, I'm going to put the whole lot in. It'll look like a huge amount, but it'll wilt right down. Careful not to melt the bag to your egg. I still haven't put any stock in there, but I'm going to put that in a bit. And then I'll give this curry a little bit of a stir. So you can see beautiful masala sauce there. I actually sold an egg to a 6-year-old with that sauce. She came to one of the demos I was doing, asked what I was cooking, so I gave her the chicken tikka in that sauce with a bit of naan bread, and she came back about 5 minutes later and asked for some more. The following week she came back to the demo and asked for the recipe. Week after that she came back. I can't remember what happened that week. Anyway, it took me 4 weeks, and then the dad said, look, I've got to buy one of these things, and he ended up buying the egg just because of that sauce. Guy called Nick as well. He lived in Peterborough, and in the end he sent me a lovely email at the end of the season and said, according to my daughter, you've turned me into a barbecue god, but we have one bit of trouble. She has learnt the smell of the egg and now wakes up as soon as I light it, and so she has to have food. So anyway, let's go back and have a look at our chicken tikka.
Nick,
Yeah.
do you have any meat?
I don't have meter blocks left at the moment, but I have just ordered 12 more, and they should be here on Monday. So that's a sort of yes no. Right. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a they're a thermometer. So not using the meter today, but you can see these bits of chicken now. Getting nicely crisped up. We were under control temperature wise. We don't want to burn them, but we do want to give them that nice barbecue flavour. Dropping some bits through, but hey.
Mr. White cooking your chicken next time.
Paul,
Yeah.
which chicken is he cooking?
Double fry.
Oh, so we've got Paul down in Devon. He's been regular on this. Friend of mine. Runs a holiday company or holiday flats, apartments, not apartments or flats, houses. Lovely spot. Hyde Park Barns. Yeah, so Paul's on, and he's going to do the southern fried chicken with his boys, I guess. So anyway, they're looking great. Let's have a look what's going on with our spinach. So it's starting to wilt. So at this point, I'm going to add a bit of chicken stock. Now, I use this stuff from Knorr. I love it. It's all we ever use, so I don't tend to measure it out as ever. Just put some of that in. That's a concentrate, so we need to put the water in, so we'll add some water to go with it. And again, I'm doing that by eye, as I do, and I'd encourage you to experiment like this. You know, don't go by every recipe. Just play with it, and then work out what you like, what you don't like, and so on. So that looks like that is going to be a lovely consistency once that spinach has gone in. Okay, yep. That's because we've dropped a whole load of stuff on the charcoal. So if you turn around, Andy, you'll see there's a lot of smoke going on. It's because I've knocked off a lot of those bits of chicken, and they've fallen, the sauce off the chicken, it's fallen down on the charcoal.
And we're cooking the chicken at 180?
Yeah, so we're cooking roughly 180. It's a bit low at the moment, but we'll open up, have a look. You can tell when these are ready, they need to be at 74. So 50, 60. So that one, that's ready. Now, if you like them nice and crunchy, some of these aren't. They're not far off, but if you like them nice and crunchy, you can cook them a bit longer. If you don't, then, but they'll, then take them off when you're ready. But these are, almost ready. So give those another 5 minutes, and they're ready to go into that masala curry, masala sauce. Right, I'm just going to give my hands a tiny wash. So any questions, Helena, while...
No, I think we've answered it along. People asking about the egg genius.
Sorry, people asking about the Egg Genius.
Yeah.
So, the Egg Genius is a barbecue controller that we used in a cook over Easter. Big Green Egg have sold out of them. at the moment. They will come back into stock. Originally it was July, it's now been brought forward, so it's going to be June. Yeah, just wait. I will quote all the people who've asked me to quote them for it as soon as it comes into stock. Yeah. Right, let's have a look at our curry.
Lucy has asked for an alternative to mushroom. Aubergine?
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard that. Lucy, is that Lucy McKay?
Yeah.
Lucy has asked but for an alternative to mushroom. So yeah, aubergine. We do a butternut squash and spinach curry that's absolutely delicious. That is on my website, so that's you could do that straight away. But yeah, any vegetable that's going to hold up a little bit, just a little bit. You want it to be soft, but you don't want it to fall apart. So yeah, give it a whirl. Right, let's get the chicken off. We'll get it in the sauce. So I'm going to take my pan and I'm going to take my chicken and drop it straight in. It will continue to cook in there, but if you look at some of these, they should be up around the 73, 74 mark, just under, so they will continue to cook. I'm happy with those. You could take them a little bit further, but what I want to do is get this grill ready because we need to do some naan bread. So I'll get them in the sauce. Now this is going to smoke a little bit because if you look through the grate, Andy, you can see there's lots of bits dropped onto the charcoal, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do, what I use to clean my grid, I'll get a new bit. You'll probably see underneath here there's always bits lying around. Scrunch up some foil. This Kirkland stuff is really thick, so it helps. Scrunch it up. And there you go. Much better than one of those wire brushes. The bristles fall off those. You are going to get some smoke, but these, it cleans up these grids. You can see they're almost back to silver now. Best way of cleaning it. So do that. We're going to get a bit smoky because of all the bits that have fallen down. So I'm going to open it up a bit. I want to be aiming for 200, 220 to cook these flatbreads. So I'm going to open it a bit, it'll burn them off, and we'll get some flatbreads going. Now what I have done is I've got a little cast iron pan, a little bit of garlic in there, a little bit of butter in there. So while we're rolling the flatbreads, I'm going to put this in here, put it off to one side, and that will just melt and infuse, and we're going to use that then to paint on our naans. I'll put this back in this egg. So I'm going to mix it all in. We'll get that all heated through nicely. There we go. And then we'll go over here and roll some naans. So let's take the thing off, cling off. For those of you who've been on my cooking classes, this is my standard bread recipe, as it turns out, but with one thing added, and that's sugar. It's got 3 teaspoons of sugar in it. Susan Stoneman, who's a fabulous cook, did a video of some naan breads or some flatbreads, and it looked amazing. So I asked her for the recipe, and it turns out they are one ingredient different from my bread recipe. So yeah, we're going to do these. So this, I made the dough this morning. It's puffed right up, you can see. It's all the air inside it. But what we're going to do now is knock it back, portion it, and then I'm going to roll a couple of naan bread with it. So if I hit it like that, you'll just see it collapse. That's all the air just escaping. But we'll get in there with a hand, and you can see how much it had expanded. We've just knocked that air out of there. So I don't need too much of this, so I'm just going to flour my board.
Curry was cooked direct?
The curry is cooking direct. You could do it indirect, as I said. The chicken was cooked direct. The naans, these little flatbreads, are going to cook direct. The wok is obviously direct, but so everything today is direct. You could go indirect on the curries if you wanted, after you've done the onion frying piece, just to be a little bit more in control. But for us, it's fine today. So, just lightly flour board and a bit of dough, a little bit of flour on there. What I haven't got is my pizza peel.
Cue Helena.
Cue Helena to run. A little bit difficult to roll out on this board. If you go to India, they'll do it like this, and basically they're flapping it over their hand to stretch it. I actually had a go in a tandoor while I was cycling in India. It was fabulous fun. That'll do nicely. Right. So I'm just going to pick it up with a pizza peel, and we'll take it over now. Hopefully, you can see smoke's clearing a bit. We're just over 200 degrees. I'm not going to put anything on it, so this is just the bread recipe, and we're going to go straight onto the, right next to my pot. It's melting away nicely. Let's move the pot out of the way, and we're going to give that probably.
Check that butter is in.
Yeah, the butter's fine. So you can leave it. You can leave the lid open on this if you want. It will get hotter and hotter, but it's good fun to watch. Once they start rising, they just go. You could do multiples at a time as well. They're about, I like to say, they're about a pound coin thick. Does that make sense? A little bit thinner, and you've got yourself a flatbread. But yeah, about a pound coin thick. Hopefully that will start to bubble up in a minute. The heat will get to it. I'm going to pull the lid shut for a second, just to let the heat get in there, and then you'll see it all bubble up. A little basting brush here. All right, let's have a little look. Here we go, starting to bubble. Can you see that? So you're getting that nice puffiness that you want from a naan. It might be difficult to see the contrast today because it's such a sunny day. But let's get in there. Now we can flip it over. Oops. Now you want to cook these for like a minute and a half, a minute and a quarter each side. Depends how hot you've got it. The hotter you've got it, the less time it will take to cook. I've cooked it in a different style oven, in a pizza oven, and these will take like 20 seconds. They just race up. You put them in and it's just so. But yeah, they're good fun. There you go. See it puffing up. And go in again and flip it. We'll shut it, one more turn, and then we'll flip it again. And then we've got our garlic butter in there, so we'll just take it off, we'll paint it. That's a naan. Now we can make multiples of those. So, right. Obviously I'll burp that then. Oh, it's looking lush. Now I should say happy birthday to my brother-in-law Rob. Don't know if he's on. So this naan will not be for him because he won't have butter on anything. So
Risk it for a brisket says cobra or kingfish in it.
both. Did you hear that? I don't know if you heard that. Risk it for a brisket said cobra or kingfisher. Either, both. I'm not shy. There we go. Right, let's do that. Let's grab our little pot. Just give it a swirl. I'm going to leave that on there for a second. We'll get a bit of butter out. There we go. Leave that in there. Shut the lid. I'm going to shut it down a little bit for now, because we'll come back and do more naan. So I'm not going to bore you to death doing multiples, but we'll do more naan in a bit, because we're going to. We've got our brother-in-law. They're coming over to pick up curry off the drive. So and our mother and father-in-law, mine. So anyway, there's a naan bread.
Lucy has asked, does the bread ever stick to the grill?
Lucy asked, does the bread ever stick to the grill? No. I put a bit too much oil on there. Let's just let's get that. I'll tell you what we could do. This will upset some people, but a tiny sprinkle of coriander on there. How's that look?
When are we hoping to get the video up on YouTube?
Video will go up on YouTube as soon as I've downloaded it this afternoon. I have to download it, edit it a bit, and then upload it to YouTube, but it will go up there. So hopefully this afternoon. There's 2 recipes missing from today. Hopefully those will go up at some point today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how we do. Right, let's have some curry. So let's
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When using the expander system, do you get a temperature difference across the levels?
Okay, so the question, in case you didn't hear Helena, when using the expander system, which we're not really using today, this is just the standard cast iron, gives you more space. When using the expander system, do you get a temperature difference across the levels? Tiny amount, not worth worrying about. Once you've got the lid shut, you're basically keeping all that temperature in there. So, yeah, not really is my answer. Right, I'm going to take some of this out. We haven't got any rice today, but we'll serve one of these up so you can see what we've got. So we've got some chicken tikka, there's a bit of almond in there, so if you're nut lovers or not nut lovers, don't have it, don't make that one. Spinach and mushroom curry in there. I am a messy person. We'll put a couple of bhajis on the side like that. I need to just wipe this down. I'll steal a bit of this. Better do my chefy bit. Oops, pull that one. And put that there. Naan bread to go with it. Well, I'll just put it on the table. How about that? And then your choice of pickles. How's that look? So yeah, curry, easy, straight off the egg. I'm gonna have a little bit. I know Nigel want me to do this. Look at these, really light and fluffy. Get in there, get a good dip of sauce. Oh, they're lovely. Oh, I've forgotten one thing from this sauce. Mango. Put a bit of mango in there, mango chutney, it really sweetens it up. I can taste straight away it's missing a bit of mango. So, but yeah, lovely. Right. Any questions, Helena? Let me grab my drink.
None at the moment. We've asked them as we've gone along. I'll give people a minute.
So, how many people do we have today, roughly?
I can see about 50.
50 odd. Okay, perfect. So people are enjoying this. They're obviously coming back. So we'll probably do another one. So what sort of suggestions have you got for next week along this Saturday night takeaway theme? Pizzas we've had suggested before. I was thinking about chicken wings. I'm a massive chicken wing fan. We could spend a whole thing on chicken wings and different sauces to go with chicken wings. I know a lot of you have already done my Korean chicken wings. They are epic. But we can also do a lime chicken wing. We could do a standard buffalo sauce chicken wing. So that could be something. But yeah, type away.
So I've got fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Fajitas.
Fajitas. Oh, good one. Fajitas. Yeah, Andy behind the camera is, yeah.
Big fajita fan.
Yeah, there you go.
Paella.
Paella. We did paella last night. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Lots of thumbs up for chicken wings. How would you cook a tuna steak?
How would you cook a tuna steak? If you look on my Instagram feed, about 5 weeks ago, beginning of lockdown, there is a tuna steak. Now, I am somebody who likes my tuna raw. So I cooked it really, really fast. So cast iron griddle, get it really nice, searing hot, bit of oil on it, and then a bit of oil on your tuna as well. On there, turn it 90 degrees to get the crisscross, flip it, give it a minute, like 30 seconds, turn it 90 degrees, and then I serve it, and it's still cold in the middle for me, but that's how I like it. If you like it warm through, then drop the temperature. I'd cook it probably 250 on the egg. If you like it cooked a little bit more, then drop the temperature and cook it a little bit slower so that it warms all the way through. But yeah, I like it, almost sushi. And there's a great photo on there of a tuna salad that we did. It was right at the beginning of lockdown. Yeah, and we sat out here and in March and had it for lunch, and it was beautiful. Anything else, Helena?
Someone suggested fajitas with a dirty steak.
Fajitas with a dirty steak is an epic suggestion. Yes, because we can cover dirty steaks then as well as, yes, absolutely. And we can talk a little bit about different cuts of meat as well. So we could do some fajitas with one cut, so perhaps a piece of rump or ribeye, but fajitas are really good with skirt steak, and dirty skirt steak is a thing. So dirty skirt, you heard it here first. Well, probably not first, but yeah. Anything else? Dirty veg, we could do some dirty veg, yeah. So the peppers that go with fajitas and the onions. Onions caramelised, done directly in the charcoal, are epic, so we could do that. That is a great suggestion. So next week is dirty onions, dirty peppers, dirty skirt. And then we'll put it all together for fajitas. And we'll probably use... I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna use a packet sauce, and we'll probably use a sauce from Capsicana. My first or second ever demo I did 7 years ago. I was next to a guy called Ben, who at the time was running a company called Capsicana, but selling dried chilies. And so I did a demo bit with Ben. We've become great friends, and he's gone on to set up or to sell to the supermarket. So you can buy his sauces, his rubs, all of those things in Sainsbury's, Waitrose. So yeah, big up to Ben from Capsicana and his whole team. I mean, he's a proper sized company now. He's not a one-man band like me, or two or three or whatever we are here. He's a proper sized company and selling to the supermarket. So he's done incredibly well. So yeah, we might use his sauces for that. So yeah, let's do next week's theme. Fajitas with a lot of dirty. So I think we'll call that a wrap. That is pretty much spot on 45 minutes as we were planning. We don't want it to be too long. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. Hopefully this will encourage you to go out and cook a few of these things, whether it's flatbreads, whether it's naans or just a normal flatbread, but hopefully you'll go out there and try those on your egg because they're epic. Yeah, get your curries out there. That charcoal adds just a depth, a richness to those curry sauces that you just don't get if you do them inside. Very much the same when you're doing a chili con carne or a bolognese. Doing those on your egg just gives a beautiful richness. And if you want even more smoke, you could use chips and chunks as well, but I don't tend to. But yeah, so thank you very much. We'll post this video on YouTube. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that'd be fabulous. Otherwise, contact me during the week. Yeah, just usual email address, so nick, no K, NIC @meatsmokefire.co.uk. And thank you again to Andy and Helena.
You're welcome.
For looking after me today. And thank you to all of you for joining. And yeah, look forward to seeing all your cooks. Great stuff. Cheers. Have a great weekend.